Happy Valentine's Day, guys. It is February 14th, 2017. We have a lot of news for you guys today.
Yeah, well, these are two videos. I'm going to put them together, sent from two different commenters. This one shows what's happening in a certain English neighborhood where a lot of the people have been run out, and the reporter actually gets surrounded at the end. And then I want to show kind of like the pushback in Poland because of this kind of stuff. So,
which is inside Burnley. And this area here used to be inhabited by the indigenous people of Burnley, which would be British. And as we look behind me, what we see in so many areas where people of what we call third world come into. And they call them Asians here, but in our country they're not Asians, because Asians means Chinese, Japanese. These are what we would call Middle Easterners. And when they come to an area like this, a lot of times you'll start to see an increase in crime. You'll see a dilapidation of buildings, basically a lowering of the standards of living. And we were getting ready to do a small report here, and these two fine ladies walked up and they said, "What are you doing down here? You don't want to be down here." And one lady still lives here, another one has moved out. I'm going to let them tell you, instead of me, what happens when different people move into an area from a different culture and what it imposes.
Well, what happens is...
Ray, they move into our community, and as you say, crime rate goes, sex, they're out wanting our girls, you're walking down the road at night time and you're getting stopped, how much love and all that. We can't come out after dark, can we?
No, my daughter...
kids, bully our kids. Like, they all team up on our kids, so our kids can't play out, they've got to be in all the time. Do you know, computer games? Right. On computer games, what else do they go on?
Oh, they go to Library down the road, and what it is my daughter, the reason why I moved from around here, my daughter, I used to live...
How old is your daughter?
She's 13.
Okay.
And I used to live at number 5 on this street, and my daughter, for last year, I had to move because my daughter was walking down the road with her dog, taking the dog out down at the bottom of the street where the big fields, and there was Nation in a black car following her. "Oh, come on love. No, I went mad about it. What would police do? Nothing. Not a thing."
Now, I've read about this here. It's called grooming.
Yeah,
correct?
It's exactly.
Now, in our country, grooming means combing your hair.
No, but
it's not here.
Yeah, it's like rape, getting ready for rape, or trying to get a young girl into bed, or whatever. They do anything to get a young girl into bed. We know it's wrong, you know it's wrong. But these young girls nowadays, they don't know it's wrong. Right. And it's wrong, it is grooming them.
At 12 and 13, it's a very impressionable age. You're not an adult yet. So, and what happens is, I think they prey, sometimes people like that prey on innocence.
Yes.
And the British are very kind people.
Yeah.
The indigenous people are very kind, tend to be very tolerant. And so I think that they're playing on that, and that's sinister. That's very sinister to prey on little girls.
What's that word? Ignorance. They're very ignorant against everything.
Are here for their pleasure.
And I'm not being
my daughter, she's 24 years old, she was 12, and she was groomed up Bruncher.
Yeah.
And she ended up with I don't know how many Asians and that.
Now, you said that you live right down the road here, and you don't come out at night.
No, I can't come out at night because people are shouting, stopping me on the street.
And you're from here?
Yeah, I'm from here. I've lived down here all my life, more or less, and
she received
it's terrible
a call,
now.
then came to tell the camera person that we need to get out of there.
You can't come out on your own. You've got to come out in a couple.
And you mentioned, and she mentioned bullying, okay? And bullying, okay, all right, bye-bye. You talk about bullying, and bullying is something. I was talking to some young kids, and they said that they cannot walk alone home from school because all at once there'll be a gang of people and they throw them in the canals.
Yeah, they throw them in canals, pinch their mobile phones off them.
Do you guys do anything about this?
They can't come out with your phone. So if they get into trouble with no phone on them, because they take them off them. They take the bikes. They take everything.
What do the police do about this?
Because you can't identify them. Because they're all in like a group of 10, 15, and if they see something they want and you're walking with it, you've had it.
Well, that's really a shame, and you are from this area originally, and you're basically now a prisoner in your own home at night.
More or less, yeah.
And you can't leave the community.
No, I wouldn't want to, because I wouldn't want to be on this main road, because this was a well-known prostitute road at one time. They have cleaned it up, but they use the whole area now, so wherever you are, people are trying to pick you up.
Well, many times on mainstream news, they talk about the enrichment that the diversity gives you, the culture that comes in gives you. Do you see it that way, or do you see it's more destructive?
More destructive.
Because your life has changed
Yeah, an hell of a lot.
in the last, let's say, 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be you were free to roam the streets. You didn't have to worry about being harassed, except for maybe an occasional person stumbling out of a bar yelling something. But other than that,
Yeah, fine, but now you can't.
and you were talking about the children, too, being what they call groomed here. And I know that's become a large issue. And there's been some issues over in Blackpool and different where they brought people up on charges, but a lot of times they let them go.
Yeah, I know they do. Like, there was the boy couple, male couple, who lived down on Danes House Road. They groomed, I think it was 9 different lads in that house, and they've moved on to Blackburn.
Right.
But they took a 17-year-old lad with them. And they have threesomes and stuff.
Okay.
Some were,
Move on here.
I would.
some were a little safer.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
So
Thank you,
he's going to
Samantha.
move on to
Good
somewhere
luck.
a little safer. The camera person had to move quickly to keep from being hit, and they lost sound for a few minutes. And so he's interviewing them for a little while, and a bunch of them just keep coming around. And he's talking to them, and they're calling more and more guys around. And they find it to be funny. It's like a game that whenever they're doing something to a Western person, their faces, they're all giggling and laughing. Like it's funny to them. They have nothing else to do with their lives, so why not? So giving them a signal to block them in. And then now they're blocking them in.
What do you feel about Sharia law?
I think about this, that's Islamic country, isn't it? That's what it is.
But how about here?
Yeah, I don't know, because we're not in the Islamic country, so we shouldn't really, obviously,
Is there some point in time to where maybe you would like to see this become an Islamic country?
Glass bombs start to fall.
Islamic country. We'll be a much better country, say that.
It'd be a much better country.
A much better country, yeah.
You think because there'd be more laws imposed, there'd be more discipline, or what?
Probably more discipline.
That was cute. Oh! All right.
They're now under attack. He makes his way to the car.
Well, there you go. There's a prime example of what I was just talking about. And it's something the mainstream media will never, ever discuss. And look how quickly it happened to us. A flash mob gathered within 5 minutes. And what happened? Well, as you see, what you didn't see was glass bombs coming down off the top floor as
What are
people were
glass
yelling and throwing them at them. The camera person was harassed. They were starting to block us in to where we couldn't leave. There were people behind the little alleyway getting ready with some sticks to come in and club me. So there was going to be a horde of 50 people descend upon me and the camera person and basically beat us to a bloody pulp. Now, this is something, like I said, the mainstream media will never cover. We had one fellow that was trying to talk decently and 20 or 30 that was starting to get riled up just because we were there.
So he says that this was kind of censored in the UK. I don't know. Obviously, these are some of the things that we haven't really seen here in America, like little bits and pieces of it.
Right.
So I just kind of wanted to bring that to you guys. Should I show the Poland one now, or
Sure.
the second one? Okay, so we'll just take you guys to Poland, where I really like this march that someone shared with us.
So if you're just joining us now, because we'll probably separate this is a march for independence that was done this past November in Poland.
Poland, the stronghold of Europe. To be Polish, to be Catholic is a privilege and honor. And it's kind of like a march for life. But it's also a march for independence, and this was just this past year, November 11th.
More than 150,000 people marched in the defense of Christian Europe.
They don't want Sharia law. I don't blame them. This is. I think that a lot of people would say, you know, oh, right, whatever. This is their country. This is their heritage. They have a right to defend it and protect it at all costs.
Absolutely.
Independence for the unborn.
My heart breaks for these people because here in America, we're not experiencing this yet. And thank God, because of Donald Trump, I don't think that we're going to. But if Hillary Clinton had been elected, this would be us in like 3 years.
And like the difference is we have had millions of Mexicans come across the border, but they're Christians.
Right.
So there's no, if those Mexicans were Muslims,
Yeah.
we would just be wiped out.
You guys have no idea what's going on in these other countries, and this is why Donald Trump is saying, you know what, we have to relook at this. Because our entire country could be morphed if all of these Muslims were to come into our country, start having children, take over in numbers, you know what I mean, and wipe out our heritage, and essentially have America and America's history become extinct. It will never happen, but in Poland and in places like this, there's a real risk. What do you mean?
They need to fight. The globalists put these two groups together because they want civil war.
Exactly.
Because isn't fight each other.
I know
no matter
exactly.
what.
Yeah, so the
You
peanut
need to go
gallery
for
back
the
here.
leaders,
The
not
idea
the
is
people.
that the globalists have done this on purpose because they want a war between Muslims and Christians. They want a war between Islam and Christianity. So they purposefully had them flood Europe to create this kind of chaos that we're seeing right now.
You need to go after the leaders.
Go after the
Cut
leaders.
off the head of the snake.
Not the people.
What, Mom?
Not the people, the leaders.
Right.
Your own leaders. Put you in the situation.
This is really powerful here.
It says at the bottom, abortion is murder. Interesting that they're combining their defense of their country with also fighting abortion. You know how it goes hand in hand. Both equal death, essentially.
Right. Exactly. And so this march, it goes on. I just enjoyed watching the whole thing. It was just a powerful thing to watch. It was so cold, I'm sure, and rainy and snowy, and it's just a bunch of people who came together to fight for their country, and I think that is a noble cause. But like my mom was saying,
Patriots.
right? We have to recognize that. You're not fighting the Muslims. You're not fighting Islam.
Right.
And that when we give in to the war and we give in to hate,
Right.
and when we give in to, oh, it's the Muslims, it's the Muslims problem,
Right.
or
You guys, all of this stuff. There's a reason why Merkel opened up that just look, everybody can come to. I guarantee you that was not her idea.
Right.
She is listening
She's
to
just
people
a
like
puppet.
George Soros and people way above George Soros with this global plan to disrupt the entire world. And I know you guys say that we're crazy. We're not. This is really, really happening. People with agendas
Crazy
are moving.
Thought this idea up.
There are very, very powerful men and women across the entire world that are moving people like Merkel, and they're moving people like who's the
just moving the EU.
They're moving the entire EU practically is controlled by these powerful people.
Practically?
Not practically. They really are. And they have an agenda, and all wars, you can look back and realize that World War I, World War II, it was all funded by Ford, Carnegie, Rockefeller. I mean, all these people, they wanted to create war because war creates chaos, which creates people to be dependent upon the system.
All wars are bankers' wars.
All wars. Everybody says that, oh, it's always religion. It's always religion is just a faux front for what these wars are. It is all about greed and power under the guise of these religious things, and so so actually in essence they're kind of controlling us.
Oh yeah.
Because we're having to fight back,
right?
Again, because that's the only thing that we can do.
The best thing is to recognize that the globalists have started this, so we have to be smarter than them. We can't submit to, this is a great push.
Right.
This is a great push, but we have to recognize that we're not fighting against Islam.
Right.
We're fighting against the globalists who want us to fight Islam.
Right.
Okay? So yes, that on one hand you do
you kind of have to just to protect yourself initially to put up that
shield. So you have to do this, but be smart.
Right. And know that there's way more to it.
And so dismantling the EU is a first step.
Take back control of your armies, so your armies deal with the Muslims.
Exactly. Take back control.
Absolutely.
What you need to do is have each country be individual again. Take back control of your armies. They wanted like an EU army.
That would be devastating.
Each country needs to be sovereign again and control your own borders.
Right.
And the only way this worked was through the EU and open borders. If you didn't have the EU and the open borders, where you had to have your visa stamped,
which, if that in and of itself does not tell you that there was a higher plan,
right,
I don't know what will.
Think about it. You had to have your visa stamped and your passport stamped. You know, and now you don't, and it's just open and you can just flow freely everywhere. That was their main idea, and the whole euro, the whole currency, to get rid of national identities, to get rid of cultures, that was their idea, and that was what they were doing before. Some of us, they were hoping that people wouldn't wake up, but you guys are waking up. You've got Brexit, you've got Marine Le Pen, you've got Group Wilders, and they're like, oh, they're racist. No, they are nationalists because they love their country, and they're just taking back their borders. There is nothing wrong with having, I mean, look at poor Italy, just flooded. Hundreds of thousands of people just, where'd they come from? Where'd they come from?
You guys need to understand that what makes our world so beautiful is the uniqueness of every country, right? And so if the entire world starts being flooded by a Middle Eastern people, and there's nothing wrong. People love to go to the Middle East for its own uniqueness and its own beauty, but it shouldn't be all over the world. All right?
This was really interesting. Europeans who join Islamic State leave parents in fear and denial. Families fret about their fates. They struggle to reconcile with reality. This whole article is about parents who are afraid. What's happening is that it's not necessarily the first generation of Muslims who kind of immigrated and integrated. It's their kids who are being joining the ISIS and joining the Islamic State. What's really weird,
marrying into it,
is that parents are in denial, and it's it's a defense mechanism because parents choose to believe their children have been duped. Sometimes they refuse to believe their child is they refuse to believe their child is dead. And so these parents are like, I don't know how my child was radicalized. I hope they come home safe.
Right.
They literally are saying that. My kid joined the Islamic State, and I'm just really afraid that, the U.S. or Assad might kill them or something like that. And I just want them to come home safe. They're in such denial. It's
unreal. All right, you guys. I think that's how we're going to round it off tonight. This is Leah Michelle signing off for Resistance Chicks, where it's not a conspiracy theory if it's the truth. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring the bell for notifications so you get an email when we put out new videos, and find us on Facebook. Do we have anything else for the rest of the day? That's it. All right. We'll see you guys.
was cold, all alone. No place for home every day, so afraid. But you called my name.